Hey friends, happy Friday! Oh my goodness, I have got to share this amazing news before we get into today's episode. I just opened up my email and it says, "Hello, pumpkin spice season." And oh my goodness, have you seen the new drinks that Starbucks have got? Oh my gosh, autumn is here. So we've got free drinks over here. Pumpkin spice latte, obviously. When you guys over in the States have this, we have it too. I'm so glad that they've invited us into this. And they've allowed us to have the pumpkin cream cold brew, which is new. And I'm actually, there's 4 drinks. There's pumpkin spice frappuccino. There we are. And there's the iced salted maple caramel latte. Now, I'm not a fan of caramel, but I'm about to try all of these things. I'll happily try these things. In anything autumn, give it to me. Give it to me immediately. So that's not what today's episode is about. Today's episode is going to be a good one. We're talking about how to track macros. And if you haven't downloaded the guide, head over to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/macros guide, and you'll be able to download your guide. And friends, autumn is coming. I'm so excited I created merch. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/merch to grab your pumpkin spice season merch. Can't wait. Now, friends, let's get into today's episode. Hey friends, welcome to a brand new episode. I'm excited that you are here. Today we are talking about why you should be counting your macros and how to do it right. And this episode is for you if you're a mom or sister, friend, wife, wherever you are. If you are looking to find that perfect diet plan for weight loss, this episode is for you. Girl, we about to get into it. Hey friend, welcome to Lose Weight with Macros, the Basics podcast show with me, your host Verona, where I believe if you are the woman that you are struggling to lose weight, you're sick of crash diets, fad diets and gimmicks, and you are willing to do whatever it takes to get the results that you want, you are in the right place. If you're somebody who's overwhelmed by all of the conflicting information out there, you're confused about how much protein you should be eating, how to count macros, you don't have time to figure out your macros, and you're sick and tired of repeating the same old boring meals because it is exhausting, you are in the right place. Because, my friend, this Lose Weight with Macros Basics podcast is specifically for you. You're the woman who wants to learn how to track your macros and do it sustainably, do it in a way that you can enjoy your foods and you don't have to cut out your favorite foods, and we're not here for that. So, my friends, if this is you, grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your matcha, your notepad and pen, because today's episode is going to be a juicy one and you're going to need to take notes. So buckle up, friends, let's get it. Okay, friends, this episode is why you should be counting your macros and how to do it right. Now, friends, if you're looking for a way to lose weight, counting macros can be an amazing option. Let me just tell you, but you want to learn more about tracking your macros. When it comes to macros, when you know how to do it, it's easy to do and it still allows you to enjoy the foods that you love whilst also getting all of your nutritional goals met and having a cheeky glass of wine, having a cheeky cup of ice cream, having a cheeky cookie, whatever it is. I'm teaching you all of the skills and tools that you need in focus on the fat loss to be able to do that, not just do it, how to maintain it, how to customize and personalize it to you so it fits into your lifestyle. If you're a busy mom of 4 children, it's not likely that you want to be doing all of the things when you know you've got a busy schedule and you just want to be able to eat healthy, give the kids the same food or their treats without having to feel like you've just been knocked to the ground by a ton of mom guilt bricks. Girl, if I got your attention, this is for you. Now, don't worry if you're not a mom, if you don't have children, there are still some things that you can learn in this episode, and I will be covering a broad range of women in the program. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, pause on this one, you can come back to this one, but jump back to the last sets of episodes that I have done. Now, the last few episodes that I have done, episode 136 is what you need to know about the 3 diet mistakes that you're making. Episode 137 is a step-by-step guide, and it's a live coaching, my first ever time of giving you a sneak peek. I've made the names anonymous and I've got permission for me to share the coaching journey, but this is where clients go really deep into what it is that they're struggling with, and you actually hear me give them the solution as to how she can overcome that. And episode 138 is to focus on the fat loss Q&A questions that I'm answering about the program to help you know whether or not this program is for you. Spoiler alert, it is for you if you're ready to ditch the diets and actually get serious about your weight loss. Now, before we get into the rest of the episode, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about Chris. I remember Chris. Chris had 4 sons and a full-time job. I don't have any children and I've got a full-time job and I'm still running a business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy working for other people. I just want to be able to do my business full-time. It's getting there. It's getting there. But Chris was looking to lose weight and she also wanted to gain muscle. Now, there's a difference between gaining muscle and losing fat, but that was her particular goal. Chris was in that space like I was. She tried lots of things. She tried Whole30, she tried paleo, she tried keto. But the thing was, Chris was never able to keep up with it because of her busy lifestyle. But when macros started to come to her ears, macros started to begin to be intrigued. She started to be intrigued about macros because when it came to macros for her seemed a lot easier to follow than some of the diets that she's tried in the past. And together we honed in on creating a personalized and customized macros. Now, what does customized and personalized mean? So that means not just numbers on calculators, not just numbers on websites, not just numbers and you're asking random people to do a macros check for you. I'm talking specific in relation to what Chris was talking about. So Chris has said that she's got 4 sons and a full-time job. Now, it's not likely that Chris is going to be able to stand up and do meal prep for 8 hours a day. It's just going to be unrealistic for her. So when we calculated her macros, we took all of that into consideration for her and helped her to create a plan that worked for her and fit in her lifestyle. Because the worst thing is giving you a set of numbers, sending you on your way like many people do, and then expecting you to maintain it. But by the end of the first week, you're going back to keto, you're going back to paleo because you at least have some form of structure and we tend to go back to what we've always known. But instead of doing that for Chris, I made sure that she was set up for success. And not just Chris, every one of you that are signed up to the program, this is what we are doing, which is why it's 20 of you to be able to give you the most attention that I can possible in the live coaching sessions and through the training that you will have lifetime access to the video modules. So macros, if you didn't know, I've been tracking macros since 2003. I downloaded my FitnessPal app and I have used that since 2003. So almost 22 years, almost 20 years. So this is exactly why now I've created my signature group coaching program to be able to share my knowledge. It's no point in that knowledge staying stuck with me if others are not benefiting from it. So you're in the right place if you are somebody who wants to know why you should be counting your macros and how to do it right. Now, point number 1 is macros are a fantastic way to lose weight while still eating the foods that you love. Now, I go through this module in depth and there's a guide that helps you, sets you up for eating out, because it's not every day that you're going to be meal prepping. Not every day that I meal prep. There are times when I like to eat out. Hey, listen, I'd like to socialize. So there are times that I'm going to be able to eat out. So instead of being gripped by fear, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I'm afraid I'm going to lose all my progress. Instead of doing that, I've given you the guide, which is over 50 pages, by the way, to help you navigate your favorite restaurants with confidence. Now, granted, I'm not going to be able to cover every single restaurant that every single woman who joins this round and other rounds that may happen in the future, but I am going to give you some of the most common names that you may be familiar with, that you come from, whether you're in the UK or whether you're in the US. Now, that is where you will be equipped. You're not going to be able to be fearing and you are sitting down when everybody's just haphazardly just reading the menu and be like, right, I want that, I want that, I want that. You are not going to be forced to eat those things if you don't want to. So that's why I believe that macros are a great way to lose weight. And that's why I teach this foundationally to help you. Now, one of the most popular ways for people to do this is through macros counting. Now, this is where you will eat 3 meals. Some people do tend to do this by eating 3 meals and 2 snacks per day, and then they're going to track your food by calculating how many grams of protein, carbs, and fat you have in each meal. Now, initially, that's what I'm going to do at the beginning. Through the information that you give me on the form, I will calculate your macros for you. Now, it's important to be as descriptive as possible so I can get your macros calculated specifically to the T and as customized as possible. But towards the end of the program, I'm teaching you exactly how to do this for yourself so that you can maintain your progress and you don't have to track macros for the rest of your life. Macros is a tool. It's not a be all and end all for the rest of your life. Now, in focus on the fat loss, my favorite app is MyFitnessPal, and I've been signed up since 2003. Yes, it existed in 2003. Recently, I checked back on it and it said you joined in 2003. So this is where I've now created the program, which is why I say I created the program. Imagine if there was no doubt in your mind any longer that you could actually lose weight, since fad diets that you've tried have given you a full sense of hope for weight loss. Imagine if you could be unstuck from all of that all or nothing mentality and feel like you need to give up. Imagine if you learned to actually love the reflection that you saw back looking in the mirror, rather than calling yourself a marshmallow, fat, mum pooch, and all of these negative names. Imagine if you could be able to do that. Well, my friends, that's exactly why I created Focus on the Fat Loss. If you're tired of wasting money on fad diets, quick fixes, and unsustainable results, and being made to eat broccoli, chicken, and rice every day, and they tell you need to cut out carbs after 6 p.m. So when it turns to 6:01 p.m., you're now afraid to eat a morsel of bread or carbs because you're worried that this is going to cause you to gain fat. If you need an approach to fat loss that works and fits into your lifestyle, and you want to heal your self-sabotage relationship with food, Focus on the Fat Loss is a 4-week nutrition and mindset focused group coaching program where you will have access to recipes, educational videos, live Q&As, and access to meet you girl. Well, I'm also including the workout library. Friends, if this is you, then head on over to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus to sign up to join us. Now, let's get back into today's episode. So when you're downloading this, you've got MyFitnessPal, you've got Macros Plus, you've got Lose It Some app, you've got several apps, and I've used all of those apps. But hands down for me is the MyFitnessPal is the most amazing app. Now, I will tell you, if you decide to go and download the MyFitnessPal app ahead of time before you join up, that's fantastic. However, I am going to walk through with you from beginning, from when you start downloading the app to what key things should be inputted when you are tracking your macros. Now, there is a difference between premium and there is a difference between the free plan, but you can still track your macros even if you don't have the premium. I tend to have the premium and I've also had the free, but I will be demonstrating both for you in our live sessions, and you'll also be able to follow along for Android users and iPhone users. There's a guide for both of you. Now, here in this next part of the episode, and I'm going to just finish with the episode by giving you some tips on how you can count macros. Now, I'm not going into the big details. This is going to be generic. As I say, it's not a customized approach to use. Customized when you are in the program with me. Now, when it comes to macros, they help you get your nutrition plan by making sure you get the macronutrients you need. Now, they're a great way to lose weight while still enjoying the food that you have, which is one of the benefits of tracking your macros. And this is why counting your macros is a must for anybody who wants to follow a nutrition plan, gets results, and it teaches you to be accountable. Now, counting macros can help you stay on track even if you are struggling with the way that you eat on a day-to-day basis. It's an easy way. I'm teaching you in a way that's easy. It's not overcomplicated, not overwhelming, but it's an easy way to make sure that you get the right amount of macronutrient, meaning carbs, fats, and proteins. So you're not afraid of carbs here. You're not following the keto where it tells you got to have 20 grams or even 50 grams of carbs, which is what I stretched to because 20 grams was impossible. Not talking about being afraid of strawberries, berries, or even bananas. You can eat all of these foods and still be satisfied and still lose weight, which is why we address these things in the mindset portion to address those negative mindsets, because there are women who are scared, literally, to eat bananas because of diets that you have been on. Now, I remember when I actually did keto, I didn't like bananas anyway, and all I had was avocado. I had ground almonds, which was like I can't remember what it's called. Ground almonds is what we call it over here, but that's what I made with keto bread. Lots of eggs, lots of avocado, lots of salmon, and I got sick of it. I got sick of it because I'd end up binging and I'd end up restricting. And that's the thing, when you end up restricting yourself from foods that you like, end up going into that cycle of binge and restrict. And that's not the way. I've been damaged by diets. Let's not get it twisted. I've been damaged by diets. And I remember hitting rock bottom emotionally. Now, I share my story in a 2-part podcast series in season 2 if you're somebody who's interested in listening to that. But keto was rough. Keto is not a lifestyle where you might see people saying keto is the lifestyle. It isn't. It is a treatment that was created for people with neurological conditions. In the 1920s and 1930s, all the way up to the current day, it's still being used as a treatment for things as epilepsy and other neurological conditions. Somebody somewhere saw monetary gold mine and jumped on the bandwagon. And as such, you've got MLM supplements, you've got MLM reps, you've got people, even some doctors and scientists that are saying that the keto is great for fat loss. If we were supposed to lose weight and we were supposed to burn fat by utilizing our bodies and our bodies burning fat for fuel, we would all be made like that. That is how we would be born and how we'd be created. But our bodies are not created like that. Our bodies are born to burn or use carbohydrates for our source of energy, not the other way around. I tell you, I remember when I used to go to the toilet and I'm like, what's that smell? It was BO. Even though I'd washed my armpits clean, scrubbed my armpits and used deodorant, it was not a nice smell. And that is because your body is doing things that it should not be doing. The minute that I stopped keto, my body's pH system went back to normality. The pee did not smell like ammonia. My breath, the keto breath is kicking. Even if I had a mint, it's kicking. Now, these are things where some of you are married and you're trying to do this thing, and no matter how much you're washing your intimate parts of your body or brushing your teeth or having mints, it's still a problem. It's still a problem. And the reason why, your body is doing things that it is not designed to do naturally. It's an unnatural way to lose fat. Now, people might see results. I saw results, but at what cost? It was at the cost of my health. When the woman who did this and she had issues with her kidneys, she died and she lost her life. When will we stop going to fad diets in order to lose weight? Now, macros is not a diet. Now, if you're coming on here thinking, right, this is a new diet, I'm expecting to win and to lose fat, please don't think like that, because this is not another diet. Macro counting, as I will go into in the focus of the fat loss, is focused on how you can get your nutrients into your diet, the way that you eat on a day-to-day basis, and how you can get a balance of them. What extends that is there's a little bit of macro maths and numbers involved in it. So it is easy to count macros, but it can be harder to find macro friendly recipes. Fortunately for you guys in the program, I have done all of that hard work for you. So I've gone ahead and got the recipes. So you can scan the macros and it will go straight into my Fitness Pal. When I sent you back your macros, I will give you a video breakdown to understand how your macros work, and I'll give you that video background for yourself. And I will also give you and send you out the macros guide. You have to let me know whether you've got an Android or iPhone. Otherwise, it won't work and won't be applicable for you. But when it comes to that, it's easy. But creating macro-friendly recipes can be a little bit more difficult. Oftentimes, people struggle to get their protein in, and it's just eating cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. There are so many different protein sources other than that, and literally, that's why I've dedicated a 50+ recipe book of high protein recipes that will keep you satiated and help you meet your goals when it comes to fat loss. So when your body starts to have the right foods, your body will begin to thank you and your energy levels will improve. And that's the thing that we're going to see over the 8 weeks. If you're tired, you're not sleeping a lot, we're going to begin to tackle these things. Now, this is a group coaching program. It's not a one-to-one coaching program. So if you come expecting that I'm just going to answer all of your questions, then you may be better suited for one-to-one coaching. We will still do macros coaching, but it is on a one-to-one. So you are getting my undivided time and my attention for 12 weeks. Obviously, I'm not messaging you at 5 o'clock in the morning or unsociable hours. There are going to be boundaries. We have to stick to boundaries, right? But you will be able to access me over email, over Voxer, however we choose to, or WhatsApp, however we choose to communicate, whichever is best, the best method for you. That's what we will utilize, as well as our coaching sessions. Now, both in the one-to-one and group coaching sessions, you don't have to wait until 7 days to message me if you have a question. There will be opening hours and there will be times and guidelines that I will respond, and you will get to know this when you sign up to the program. So when it comes to doing macros and doing it right, these are the key things to pay attention to. Now, when it comes to being able to know what your macros are, you've got several things that you can do. You can use the workbook, you can use pen and paper, or you can use the app, or you can find macro-friendly recipes. Fortunately, I've got all three of them in the program. So you can use a normal pen and paper to be able to track your macros. I recommend, if that works for you, fantastic. I recommend my Fitness Pal because, as I said, I've been using it since 2003. But if you're somebody who's just getting started, you might want to use your workbooks to start to write it down on paper. You might want to start to write down your normal, just like you would with a shopping plan. You might want to start to use that same method and apply it to macros. It depends on where you are or what your goal is. You might want to know how much food you eat, what you eat, where does your food come from. You want to get into that habit where you are writing down everything. When you're writing down everything, that's preparing you for tracking later on in the app. Now, it can seem a little bit like, oh my gosh, do I have to write everything down? If you prefer the quick and friendly option, then the app would be better for you. Just want to reiterate, this is not a fad diet. So if you're looking for fad diets, this is not here. This is what you call a lifestyle change. And I've seen many women who have been able to maintain their weight loss after starting their macros nutrition plan. And that is my aim for you on Focus on the Fat Loss. Whether you listen to these podcasts, whether you join us, my aim for you is to help you do the things that you need to do to maintain your weight loss. Because I remember when I was doing Beachbody, I remember when I was eating out of colored containers, I remember when I was doing the shake diets, I remember when I started to buy fat burning pills. All of these were a desperate scramble to lose my fat fast. I could not button up my food. I had to unbutton my jeans after I ate a meal, and that's why I'd wear big baggy oversized clothing so that you could not see those things, so that I could undo my button. And then I'd still proceed to eat way more than my body needed. The fact that I had to undo my button on my trousers was my belly telling me you've had enough. But because of my unhealthy attachment with myself, an unhealthy relationship that I had with food, it was an addiction to me because it was there for me to cope when I was insecure, when rejection reared its ugly head, when rejection would speak so loud and tell you nobody loves you. Take your life. No one loves you. You don't belong in this world. It would be so much better for you and other people if you were no longer here. And friends, that's harsh, but it's reality. And in those times, I would turn to food. I would eat myself senseless to the point where I was uncomfortable, but that that few seconds or those few moments where it took away from that noise that was so loud in my head, those few moments made it worth it. But then when I looked in the mirror and I had to go and buy size 18 clothes or size 24 clothes because I was heavily obese and unhealthy. Some people might say you're obese or overweight and healthy. Me, I was overweight, obese, and unhealthy, point blank, period. But where I was constantly repeating the same patterns, I remember those days like they were yesterday. I got into a car accident. I defaulted back to my normal thing of eating, even when I was full up. So that's why I put on these episodes. That's why I put on the programs. Losing weight is hard work. So if you're trying to force yourself into a way of eating that your body no longer likes, you get to decide, do I want to continue doing this or do I want a whole new leaf? And I'm supporting you to do that. And your body needs to adjust to new challenges. And surprisingly, it does adjust to challenges quicker than we think. So if we're consistent, when we are consistent, I'm talking about how you track in the week, how you track on the weekends. We're covering all of that. How you track alcohol if you are somebody who likes to drink alcohol. Do you need to cut it out? Do you not need to cut it out? Unless you come to me and tell me that you have a medical reason to cut out these specific things, I can advise you on how to eat certain foods to fit in with that. It's not one-to-one personalized advice because we're not doing one-to-one coaching, but there will be an aspect of questions like that will be answered and covered in the modules and in the group coaching. So that's it. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and found it helpful. And I know how hard it can be to find a macro-friendly meal plan that works for you. But I'm telling you, I am here to help you. If you want to know more about how to make counting your macros easier, or you just want some new recipes that happen to help your body get to the goals that you have, then head on over to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus, where you can sign up to join the Focus program. Hey friend, you made it to the end of the episode. What was your biggest takeaway from today's episode? Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review over on iTunes. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's episode, or you need help, then you can contact me over on Instagram at VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast, or email me support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk, or you can head over to the Facebook page VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast. It helps us reach even more women who are fed up with dieting, don't know how to lose weight. They're frustrated with following Sally's results and they're not getting any of their own, and they just finally want to shed some pounds and do it in a way that they can sustain and they can enjoy. But my friends, that's a wrap for today's episode. I can't wait to catch you on the next one. Until then, friends, stay healthy, stay blessed, and remember, if you haven't already downloaded your 5-ingredient recipe pack, you can go to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes and download your 5-ingredient recipe pack. Who said healthy eating was boring? See you next time, friend.